Hi, Andrea here, founder of Confidence Story and creator of GTMsplit. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you the GTMsplit user interface. But before we dive into the walkthrough, I want to talk about why this user interface even exists. So this here is GTMsplit. It's a system for split testing that it lives inside Google Tag Manager. So that's the core machine you are installing on your site. Now, because not everybody is a technical person and not everybody can write JavaScript variables to run those tests, I decided to create a user interface, which is this one here. So this is GTMsplit UI. And this is what you're going to be using to create those experiments. I used to create experiments manually with JavaScript. I don't do that anymore because the UI is so convenient. And honestly, it's like foolproof. You can't mess it up. So now that we have the UI, GTMsplit became a split testing platform exactly like VWO, Convert, Optimizely, and of course, our dear Google Optimize that it's long gone by now. So let's have a look at the user interface. This is what you see when you come on confidencestory.com/gtmsplit/UI. Before you can access this screen, you will be asked to authenticate. You write your business email in the input field, and then you will receive an email for authentication. If you have an account, we'll bring you to your account. If you do not have an account, we'll create one for you. It's very simple. In this particular video, I'm going through the entire UI, and we will not be creating experiments here. There are other videos where I show you how to create a redirect experiment and an on-page experiment. But in this video, I want to focus more on what you see on the UI. So first, in the upper part here, you can download the GTMsplit container. If you don't have it already, click here, and then you go through this. There is another video that goes through the installation. So go and watch it if you haven't. Then once you have configured your experiments and you are happy with it, you have to export them back into Tag Manager. You click this button here and you will get the file. So if I do it now, you see I get the file here. There is the name of your site, and also there is today's date and the time, so that these files, as you download them, are versioned. And it's very easy for you to figure out which one is what. So of course you want to always use the latest you download. And then from here, you can create a new experiment. If you click it, a new experiment will come up. In case you haven't finished editing one experiment, you see I have one is draft here. It will start from the last step of the wizard that we left here on this particular experiment. So you see here, we didn't set the date and it's asking us to finish that experiment. So in other words, give or take, you can have only one experiment draft. Why give or take? Because you can duplicate experiments, and whenever you duplicate experiments, they go into drafts. So if you duplicate two or more, you have two drafts. But if you start a new experiment from here, you can only start a new one, okay? Until you complete it, you're always working on the same one. Now, let's see, I have 4 rows here, and they are all in different statuses. You see, this is running, this is closed, this is scheduled, and this is draft. These are the 4 statuses you can have in GTMsplit UI. Now, depending on the status, this action button here, Manage, does different things. So for running experiments, you can edit the experiment, not recommended because it's running already, so you don't want to change an experiment that it's running. But maybe you have to make a tiny change because you tested it in GTM and you see that there is something off, you want to fix it. So we left the the possibility to edit the experiment, if you click here, you get a warning. Okay, so yes, keep editing, and no, you just close the window, or you just close the window from here. Okay. Then you can duplicate the experiment. This will create a draft with the same settings as the original, except for the start date and the reporting document. This will be blank. You have to fill them. And then from here, I can stop new enrollments and I can stop the experiment entirely. Okay, these are the 4 actions you have on running experiments. A quick word on enrollments and total days, which is what you see here. So GTMsplit is a very advanced feature that it's called cohorting, and none of the other platform has it unless you are paying for enterprise. So we made it available here for free with all the other features. Now, I will not explain cohorting in this video, but basically it allows you to enroll people in the experiment for a time, and then keeping to serve the experiment for extra time. So this one in particular is enrolling people for 14 days. And then those same people that are already enrolled in the experiment will keep seeing the same variation for 42 days total. All right. So again, I'm not explaining why and how it works here. There is another video for that. But this feature is really, really important when you have a long sales cycle. So that's why we included it here. So what can you do with a closed experiment? This is very easy. You can't edit it. You can just duplicate it. So if you want to create a similar experiment, you click duplicate and you have another one without reconfiguring everything. Then you have schedule experiments. So schedule means that the starting date is in the future. Okay. So if I click manage, I can edit the experiment. This is not running yet, so it's perfectly fine, or duplicate the experiment. And last, I have a draft experiment, which similarly to schedule, I can only edit or duplicate. Okay. So these are the actions that are connected to the status of the experiment. Now let's walk through the table from the beginning to the end. The first column you have is the code of the experiment, or the ID of the experiment. So this is numeric and it's ever growing. When you start, and we'll see it in the next video, when you start from scratch, you will be asked from which number you want to start your experiment. Why? Because you may be running already your experimentation program, and maybe you are at experiment 347. You want to start from there. So you put that number into a little wizard, and the numbering starts from there. Mind that you cannot change it. So once you decide which number you want to start from, that's set in stone and it will appear here. Then the label is the kind of name slash description of the experiment. We don't have a long description, but it basically should be descriptive of where the experiment is running and what is that you changed. Okay. Then we have the status we already discussed, the type of the experiment, GTMsplit, and those 2 types, redirect and on-page experiment. Now, technically, we can also run a multi-page experiment. It can be done, but it can be done only through complex JavaScript. So that's a very advanced feature. We'll talk about that sometime in the future. So 2 types of experiments. Then you have the URL here where the experiment has to run. This is the starting URL. It's the page where the experiment will actually run. As you can see, we support wildcards in the pattern of the URL. So you can build complex patterns that match very different types of URLs. Now, this pattern matching has been tested a lot. I ran over 40 million people through GTMsplit before I built the UI here. So it's very solid, and it will allow you to run the experiment exactly where you want. Next, it's variants. So here I always suggest you make a split test with 2 variants, so A and B. GTMsplit supports up to 6, but don't make experiments with 6 variants because your traffic per arm will be very little. So it's very hard to find a winner, and it's much faster if you make experiments 2 variants by 2. You can run them for shorter time, and it's easier to make the analysis. Okay, so keep it to 2 or 3 variants. Then audience will see this in the next video when we create an experiment. You can selectively choose which kind of type of device you want to see the experiment, browser or operating system environment, let's say Apple devices or Windows devices and so on. Okay, so we have a start next. This is the start date of the experiment. Very simple. You decide when it starts, and it starts from this date. Then you have here enrollment days and total days. We already briefly talked about that. Generally, you can use the same number for the two. Default is 91, so that's like 13 weeks. Feel free to change it, to make it 42, that is like 6 weeks, make it 2 weeks, whatever. You can use exactly the same number here. If you use 2 different numbers, you are running cohorts, and that's another story for another video. The next column is the reporting document. Now, when I built the GTMsplit, I really wanted to help people also to run a proper conversion optimization program. And reporting, building the experiment, like the thinking that goes into building the experiment, and then reporting is very important. Why? Because after 6 months, when your client or your boss is asking questions about the experiment, if you don't write it down and document it, you will not remember anything, all right? So proper reporting and documentation is important. Here, in GTMsplit UI, we have a field where when you build the experiment, you can place a URL. So whether it's a Google Slide or Notion or whatever, wherever you keep your reporting system, here you have the URL. So you click here and it opens whatever URL you place there. I do my reporting in Google Slides. I find it really, really easy and quick and reliable and shareable. So that's, I suggest you steal this slide here and you use it yourself. So here you have the setup of the experiment, the hypothesis, how we implemented it, any notes you want to put there. And of course, very important, the screenshot of the variations, because there's like some people run experiments without ever taking screenshots, or they have screenshots scattered all over their documents, which is not helping. With this system, you're keeping everything together. So it's really, really cool, and it's really, really effective, and it will save you a lot of time and headaches when the day comes that you have to go back digging into all the experiments, okay? So this concludes the walkthrough of the GTMsplit UI. But there is one more thing. If you ever need support, you can go click on this link and join the group on LinkedIn. That's where I provide most of the support. Remember, this is a free product, so I cannot provide one-to-one support, but I do my best to provide support in the community. And also in the community, you will find people who are willing to help you. And maybe you become one of these experts who are helping others to get the GTMsplit up and running. Okay, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.